The Hornets 127, the Heat 126. And that was the start of the first game for the play-in tournament. And my goodness. What a game to start the play-in. John Gonzalez, CBS Sports NBA analyst. John, you said that they were going to have to shut down the Hornets' three-point game. And they did just that, and they brought it closer than I think you were even expecting. What did you see from this Heat defense, but also this Hornets offense?
I mean, what a game, right? What a way to start the play-in tournament where we go to overtime and the Hornets end up winning this one by one. And for people who haven't really seen the Hornets all season long, it's a little bit of a cardiac experience, right? I mean, it's like a super entertaining show. Now, yes, I said that the Hornets would have to shoot the ball well. They did not shoot the ball well tonight. It's kind of a miracle that they ended up winning this game. They shoot 18 for 56, Caroline, from deep. That should automatically disqualify them. I mean, LaMelo Ball had the game winner, but he also went 2 for 16 from deep, and Knippel went 0 for 6. So combined, they're 2 for 22. And even though LaMelo Ball made that two to win the game, what you didn't see before that was he almost gave the game away at a critical turnover late. And then on top of that, he compounded the mistake by fouling Tyler Hero and putting him on the line, a 91% free throw shooter who made all 3 of his free throws to put the Heat up by 1. So it's a little bit of a miracle here that the Hornets won this game. They haven't made the playoffs proper since 2016. They still have some work to do, but man, what a game.
What would you chalk up that turning point to really for the Hornets to be able to turn it around late and then really step on the gas in overtime and make sure they seal the deal?
Yeah, the Hornets have had one of these seasons where they don't know what they don't know, right? Since the All-Star break. I mean, they've been bad forever. And then all of a sudden, they started out the season not great, and then they just got so hot and went on a tear. And since the All-Star break, they were 18-9, second in offensive rating, leading the league in three-pointers made, second in three-point attempts, and third in three-point percentage. And that's really sort of the story of this game, right? Where even though LaMelo Ball drives me, and I suspect quite a few people, absolutely insane, the one thing I will give him credit for is that he is absolutely fearless, and he doesn't remember that he missed his last shot or his last 5 shots or his last 10 shots. And that's sort of the theme of the Charlotte Hornets under Charles Lee. He's empowered all these guys to just go out there and jack up shots. Now, one of them, Knippel, he got taken out of the game tonight. And I thought that was a little bit of a curious decision because he did lead the league in three-pointers and set a franchise record. But for the most part, this Hornets team is absolutely fearless. And you saw that in this game where they get down in overtime and then they just come storming back to win this game. They should have lost this game about 12 different ways, and instead they figure out a way to give the Heat their first ever loss in a play-in elimination game. Nobody's been able to do it. The Hornets did it.
Hey, something about this Hornets team and this late kind of season momentum that they're gaining. But something else with the momentum happened with the Heat, and that was Bam Adebayo going down in the second quarter with a little bit of a collision there with LaMelo Ball. What did you think of that play, and why was there no foul called, and how much did that affect, obviously, the rest of the game for the Heat?
Why was there no foul call? Why was there no review? Generally, on an injury situation like that, you see the referees go over to the monitor, and I think that the Heat are probably wondering that very same thing, right? Because Bam Adebayo, who's one of their critical players, the leader of that team, only plays 11 minutes, leaves in the second quarter with a lower back injury and does not return. And it wasn't just a collision with LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball did sort of a sweep the leg situation on Bam Adebayo on his ankle. It looked like a very dirty play to me, and it ended up injuring Bam Adebayo, or at least not helping Bam Adebayo, and he wasn't available to come back. Now, in his absence, I will say that Kel'el Ware really stepped up. He had a monster double-double in 5 blocks. But what would this game have looked like if you had both of those guys crashing the boards? Because the Heat outpaced the Hornets as expected with points in the paint and fast break points. But when you lose one of your leaders that early in the game, that really does change the complexion of the game, because now all of a sudden you're looking for offense from Davion Mitchell, who tied a career high in points with 28. Andrew Wiggins stepped up with 27. Tyler Hero stepped up late, took him a second to get going. But not having Bam was a killer. And I'm going to guess, you and I are doing this post game right now. I'm going to guess when Eric Spoelstra steps up to the microphone for his post game, that we're going to hear something about that. And he's going to be wondering why the referees didn't review that.
Yeah, and we have no idea what kind of game it would have been if Bam was on the floor late when all of this madness kind of expounded. Now, John, we got to talk a little bit about the Heat and just what is next for them with the offseason, because they're eliminated now. What moves do you want to see them make to make them even more competitive next year?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? Because this was not a good season for the Heat. Everybody kind of expects them to get into the play-in tournament. We kind of call it the Heat Invitational. As I mentioned, they were undefeated in play-in elimination games prior to tonight, right? But it wasn't a good season, and we sort of saw this coming. Not only did they lose tonight, and they probably should have won the game, but they didn't, right? It probably doesn't have anything to do with it. They were playing really bad basketball down the stretch. They had lost 10 of their last 15 regular season games going into this play-in, and now they're going home, and now Pat Riley has to look at this situation and go, well, how do we change this, right? Because when they moved on from Jimmy Butler, that really kind of signaled like a downswing for this Heat team. Like, the wheels kind of came off a little bit. We talk about Heat culture and them playing the right way, and what that hasn't looked like that since moving on from Jimmy Butler. They empowered Tyler Hero. They expected to make him the next face of the franchise. He's been sort of hit or miss. There's been a lot of injuries there. And Bam Adebayo, despite the fact that he goes for 83 points and becomes the second leading scorer in a single game passing Kobe Bryant, he's a fantastic player. But is that enough? Just Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo wasn't enough this year, and wasn't enough last year when they got out of the play-in and into the playoffs proper. And those two guys shot terribly, couldn't make a basket, and ended up being a first-round exit. So, yeah, they got to go back to the drawing board here and figure out how they can improve this team. Maybe they throw a big package at the Milwaukee Bucks and pray that Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to go to South Beach. But what they have right now, not getting it done.
Yeah, they're going to need to make some big moves to really turn this ship around. Okay, and then we have to talk about the Hornets, because they'll be facing the winner of Sixers Magic. Which team do they wish they are going to face, because they maybe match up a little bit better against?
Yeah, so they get the loser of that 7-8 play-in match, and the Hornets are 3-1 against the Magic this season, so they probably want to play the Magic. The Magic had been hit or miss. I'm not sold on that Magic team. They had Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. I'm not sure that team really, like, that duo really fits together. And also in the last game of the regular season, Franz Wagner looked like he against the Boston Celtics did not look fully healthy. Against the Sixers, the Hornets are 1-2 this season. So I think that they'd probably rather play the Magic, especially if the Magic are coming off a loss against the Sixers, and now all of a sudden you've got momentum. They're hot. They won a game against the Heat that maybe they shouldn't have won, but they don't know any better, so why does it matter? And then all of a sudden, if they can pull that off and get into the playoffs for the first time since 2016, now they're on a collision course with the number one seed, the Detroit Pistons. Look, the Hornets haven't won up. Not only have they not been, Caroline, in the playoffs since 2016, they haven't won a series since 2002. So all of this is just house money. Charlotte is a really good basketball city. It had gone a little bit dormant for a while. At least this is something for the city and the fan base to get excited about, because they are a super entertaining team.
Hey, we'll have to see if they can take this momentum from this crazy game and kind of keep it rolling here on out. John Gonzalez, thank you as always. This was fantastic. We appreciate the time. And then Wednesday, Eastern Conference play-in between the Magic and the Sixers. The loser, of course, will play the Hornets. Philly has won the season series 2-1, and Orlando is seeking that third straight playoff appearance. We will see who takes on LaMelo Ball and the Hornets.